Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Elite Rafter back with a brand new video. Today is Finance Talk. It's Saturday, 9:30 actually, on the Eastern Seaboard here, and it's going to be about 6:30. Looks like in your time in California, if you're in California. So today we're a little bit late on our presentation. Unfortunately, I had some emergency that I had to attend to with family, and I just wanted to give you guys a breakdown of what I promised you guys yesterday when we were discussing the Section 609 credit repair, a little bit deeper into that. So as per today, we're going to discuss on how you can actually get access to credit cards, where you got to look, and of course, what are some of the perks, some of the things that you need to know, some of the key concepts, so that you can basically walk away with the education, the knowledge, the plan to execute in order for you to get the funding, ultimately without you paying any upfront fees or let alone backhand fees. Now, for the most part, there are a lot of individuals out there that will say, look, you got to come through me for funding. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do, how to do it, and they take all your information and apply on your behalf. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly where you can actually find the credit cards that you can apply for depending on your unique circumstances. That includes, where your credit is currently, where you stand, your financial conditions, and of course, ultimately, the borrowing capacity that you're eligible for. So let's get started. So here's a few facts. Okay, this is something you need to know before we begin. It's a ground rule, particularly the foundation before we actually get out there to start applying for credit cards. Now, first of all, you don't have to pay hundreds or let alone thousands of dollars to learn this, because this is something that you can actually do yourself, especially when it comes to credit cards. A lot of people charge you back-end fees. It can range anywhere between 5%, like I said, to 20%. And that's just useless cost. You're going to be assuming that cost. You're getting some funding, and now you're losing 5 to 10, even 15 to 20%, and you're liable for that regardless if it's 0% promotional rate with those credit cards. So if you have the right credit file, you have lots of options. That's the first thing, okay? And you have to do a self-evaluation. Now, in my book, The United Credit of America, which I wrote quite a while ago, it's actually on Amazon. I put the link below this video. It's really cheap, $4. You can pick it up. You don't have to. I'm just giving you a recommendation because you'll learn quite a few things in there. But we talk about self-evaluation, some of the things about persistence, what you got to do to really set your file up for the perfect credit situation where you can actually leverage your credit, borrow, and of course, walk away comfortably based on your unique financial circumstances. Also, you want to aim for at least 680 credit score, because a lot of credit card companies out there, whether it be Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citibank, or even HSBC for that matter, they will deny you if you don't have that particular credit score. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that's the only factor, right? Score is not the only factor. There's a lot of other things that you need to consider. So let's get into that. So here's what you got to do to prepare your credit reports. Now, a lot of times, a lot of individuals out there will just go through this whole Section 609 credit repair or some other strategy in credit repair. Now, I don't think that's enough. I don't think repairing your credit and removing the derogatory or negative items is the rule to get the funding that you're looking for. There are other things that you have to consider. First and foremost, you need to have consistent personal information across all three, in fact, 4 bureaus. That includes Innovis. Now, what I mean by consistent personal information is your first and last name. They have to match across all three. They have to be exactly as is. There's no middle initial, middle name, and all that good stuff shouldn't be in there. Your addresses need to be consistent. Every zip code, every line item in terms of your street name, number, if you have an apartment or suite or condo, which city you're in, the state, everything has to be consistent, including your social security number, your phone numbers. Now, when I say 2 phone numbers, it means you can have a residential on your cell phone, but you want to make sure that they are consistent across all three, that they match across all three. To give you a tool in order to help you out with this, you can actually call the credit reporting agencies and request that they update that information. In fact, you can fax in. They'll give you a fax number. If not, then they'll tell you to mail in a piece of identification, including a utility bill, which matches the current information that you're requesting to update. The reason you want to do this is because all 3 credit reports, particularly the 3, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, need to be consistent, because all these credit card companies out there, they will request information from them when doing an inquiry on your file in order to approve you for that credit that you're requesting to get. You don't want to have more than 3 inquiries based on the last 6 months. And this reason is because a lot of credit card companies out there, when they look at extending funding to you, they want to make sure that you don't look desperate. They want to make sure that you're not basically overutilizing your credit file. Every inquiry, of course, on average, it's between 7 to 12 points, depending on what situation you fall into. A lot of people say you got to keep your balances below 30%. Here's the ultimate rule. You have to keep your balances sitting around 2 to 3%. A lot of people say, well, that's crazy. How can I manage that? Here's the thing. When you most don't need credit, that's the time you actually get a lot. And when you need it most, that's the time you probably won't get it. So everybody likes to work with a secure file, right? That's why the 2 to 3 balance rule works beautifully. But if you can hold it, if you're not able to do that, Try to keep it below the 15% margin. You'll get a lot more. Okay. Here's another rule. You want to have an account that's been at least established for a year, which is 12 months, but you want to have a limit at $10,000. Now, here's the game. It's not about having a $10,000 limit after 6 months of an account that you opened. And only at that 6 month range, you had that 10K limit. You want to have a 10K limit for at least 12 months, meaning if you started a credit card 2 years ago and you didn't get that limit for 10,000, but you started at 5,000, and only, let's say, 6 months ago, you got the 10,000 limit increase, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are essentially extending that, you're seasoning that. You want to have a minimum waiting period of 12 months with a 10K limit. That's the rule of thumb. You don't want to have any late payments, no bankruptcies, public records, no collection accounts, charge off, etc. You know what? All these other negative and derogatory items that can potentially affect your credit. So that's something that you want to consider when preparing your file. Okay. So here's an additional step. This is an insider step that I usually use for my customers. The reason why I give you this information is because I want you to take into consideration the things you need to do, prior to going for funding. You want to actually freeze and suppress LexisNexis. You want to freeze and suppress SageStream. You want to freeze and suppress ID Analytics. Although SageStream is going to say that ID Analytics and themselves are the same, they actually have two different addresses. You want to freeze and suppress Trust Factor, and also you want to freeze and suppress ARS. Now, a lot of people say, well, just freeze them, opt out. Also, opting out and freezing doesn't necessarily mean that they won't publicly report. They have an annual reporting that they do. In fact, they do a quarterly report that automatically updates the file with the credit reporting agencies. When you freeze them, it means basically they can't pull additional data from the public records, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they cannot report directly to the credit reporting agency. So a lot of people sometimes end up getting public records coming back and all these other, negative things. So how you suppress that? So you got to create a letter and request it. Look, I want you to suppress my information. I want you to stop updating anybody. And of course, here's my IDs. Here's my personal name, last name, address, phone number, social, whatever's necessary for you to complete that transaction, particularly when it comes to freezing and suppressing information. You got to send them those letters and basically request it. Sometimes you can actually call these guys up and request it. Sometimes they'll deny you, but the whole fact is you want to start that initiation. You want to start that process. You want to build evidence. Now, moving into the fact of disputing. If you're currently having any items on dispute, particularly prior to funding, that may potentially affect the way you get approved, how much you get approved for, and all these type of things. Of course, we don't know that for 100% of the fact, but I've seen a tremendous outcome when you actually remove disputes from your file. So to do that, basically, if you have ongoing investigations and things of that nature, you basically want to get rid of that. Okay, what you want to do is you want to call all three credit reporting agencies, look at all the disputes that are currently on file. I'd just like to claim that I'm not disputing them anymore. So what they'll do is that immediately within 72 hours, technically, they can update your files, and then we can actually go for funding. Because what happens is, a lot of these items that are being disputed currently or challenged or even questioned will make it harder for approval process, particularly when underwriters are looking at your file and saying, look, I don't know what's going on here, but until you resolve this issue, we may hold back on a file. So underwriting decisions, typically what they're trying to do here is they're trying to protect their company's best interest. So if there's anything that's a miss or something that doesn't look right or red flag, they're going to stay away from it because, again, their whole job is based on secure, right, risk mitigation and management. So just keep that in mind. So let's talk about where you could actually find those credit cards, where you're going to apply, and of course, which websites that you can go on. A lot of people actually try to hold this information back from you, but technically here, our goal is to give you as much as possible in terms of details, as where you can actually go apply, which websites are the best in terms of a lot of different information. So let's go over these. So the first one I like to recommend is called Doctor of Credit. They're pretty good. Actually, the links are all in the description below, so feel free to look them. If you're not live and you're looking at this as a recording, you'll have all that info down there. Okay, so Doctor of Credit actually has monthly updated credit card information, bonuses, everything that's required for the best option for you to apply for, which credit cards you have to apply for, depending on, of course, current credit condition and your financial condition. It also carries an extensive knowledge base, which is something you want to get access to, learn. It's not just about looking at best credit resources. It's not just about, studying the YouTube videos that I post and other individuals. It's really going out there, getting your feet wet, getting your hands dirty, and learning. That information is going to be, for for your family. It's going to be beneficial. It's extended education, of course, but it's something that you want to have access to. You also get access to daily deals. There are a lot of different things that are happening in the credit card industry, banking industry, and this Doctor of Credit website actually does update regularly. From last I checked, they have over 3 million visits a month, and I'm pretty sure a lot of that, come from different areas and states. So what you want to do is you want to get informed, you want to stay up to date, you want to check that guys out. Okay. You also get some insider information. Some of the rules of credit card funding, some of the things that you got to do, some of the rules and when to apply, how to apply, what the limits are, et cetera, et cetera. So that's something that the industry's best kept secrets. A lot of people don't want you to know, but you want to get access to that. Okay. And of course, they serve all other information, including bank accounts and all these other cool things. So again, the link is in the description below, so you feel free to check them out. Another recommended website that I have is creditcards.com. A lot of people say, well, that's just a promotional website where they refer you to a credit card company and then these gets paid. Well, that is the case, yes, but they have algorithms, tools, matching tools that they will help you actually based on your unique credit condition and where you're at. Get the best credit cards for yourself. So it's similar to Doctor of Credit. There are a lot of variety of card options based on scoring. There's categories, miles, bonuses, even business credit cards. And like I said, that matching actually gives you a unique approach to based on your credit scoring metrics and your unique financial circumstances on what type of best credit cards would suit your file. And of course, increasing your chances of approval, that's something you want to consider as well. Not to mention all the other things that I told you based on the ground rules prior to applying for credit. There are other websites. I want to just give you guys a little breakdown. Some of them are a little bit far-fetched. They talk a little bit more than just credit cards, but they do contain all the great stuff. Of course, these people will carry affiliate links to credit card companies, so they will get compensated. I am not getting compensated, for giving you these websites, but I just wanted to give you guys some resources where you can look them up, research, do your own, information search, and then of course go based on whatever you feel comfortable with. Now, you got bank rate index credit cards, card ratings, the points guy, lowercards.com, and of course all sorts of other ones. So I want you guys to just pay close attention that all these people are actually on the link below in the description, so you can actually go through them one by one to search it up. So before we continue, and one of the biggest key points here is, here are some, key considerations. And I don't want you guys to feel that you have to hold yourself back from calling these credit card companies, prior to applying for them. And, when you go online, you have the credit card application. Before you make that decision of applying, before that inquiry goes through, what you might want to do is give them a call. Because even though I give you guys the websites and the references, it doesn't necessarily mean they're up to date, right? Like, for example, the website could be updated yesterday, but today the rules change, and we still have yet to do our research and get that updates posted on the website. But before that happens, these changes are being taken effect and they're live. So what you want to do is you want to give them a call, ask the right questions. You can ask them, hey, look, which credit bureaus are you guys looking at? And stuff that will help you get that approval process and look at what they're looking for in terms of the ideal customer. And some of the things like, sign up perks, bonuses, and all these type of things can be uncovered when you actually give them a call. So don't feel bad, and don't hold yourself back, and don't be afraid to pick up the phone and give these credit card companies a call prior to applying. There's also another thing. It's about balance transfers. Now that people say, well, I want to get great balance transfer rates, I want to transfer my large balances over to that. Typically speaking, if you're looking for credit cards, if you want to apply, you want to have low balances anyways. So I don't think this situation would typically apply for you, because you're looking for high limit credit cards, but you want to have a utilization that's, like I said, between 2 to 3%. But at best, or at worst, 15% max. Not 30%, but 15. So in those situations and circumstances, possibly a balance transfer would not apply to you. But I just wanted to let you guys know that, you will have some pretty decent rates out there when it comes to that. So with that said, I wanted to leave you guys off with that. I know it's a very short video, but I promise you guys the funding sources and the websites, which are found below the video and the description. I also included a ebook, which I wrote quite a little bit ago, based on credit repair, financial strategy, and financial planning. It's called The United Credit of America. I'm planning to write my second book hopefully soon in terms of the business funding side and the different world of business financing. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you like the content, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please leave them below this video. Or you can email me privately at talk@bestcreditresources.com if you have any questions in relation to what I presented today. And keep up the watch. I hope you guys enjoyed all the videos that I put for you guys. Feel free to look through my other videos, the playlist that I've created for you guys in terms of personal credit, business credit, and a lot of other strategies. Once again, I appreciate you guys being here. This is Ali Taraftar, your guide and mentor. Bye for now.